Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thems and theys, to the podcast Daddy Variety Show, the show that has no rhyme or reason, just things in season. Now here's the host with a wiener to match his demeanor, the podcast Daddy.
Recently, I've gotten to a job that it heavily revolves around seniority. It's a union-based shop. So one of the major key components of being in the union is being able to bid on jobs when you have seniority. Now, if you know me in real life, you know I am the biggest fucking old people hater to ever exist. If you are over the age of 60, I just automatically hate you. A couple reasons why, because I know I'm going to get in the comments or I'm going to hear from some people, oh, podcast, why do you hate old people? You're going to be old one day. I know I'm going to be old one day, and I'm going to be just as insufferable as these people are now. Now, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I hate old people, and the first one is when it's 6 o'clock in the fucking morning, and all you want to do is just go to the gas station, get a pack of smokes, get something to drink, maybe grab a little snack for the road, because you know you're going to be on the road for about a good hour and a half, and you got this old fogey that's 70 years old going to buy a lottery ticket and a cup of coffee, and for some reason today, even though his grandson taught him how to use a fucking debit card, last week he sits there and I can't use this debit card. It just doesn't happen. Dude, what do I gotta? And then fucking smacks the machine with it 85 times before he gets so pissed off. He says, "This is why technology is ruining us," and then breaks out the fucking checkbook. And next thing you know, he's got an overdraft fee of $200 because the motherfucker can't balance it because he thinks, oh, if I write a check, the money's just going to automatically go. No, it's not. That was a problem I faced when I was helping my grandmother with her finances, is she'd always write checks for everything. And I mean literally fucking everything. And then she'd call me a week later and be like, podcast. Obviously, she, used my government name, but I'm not going to say that here. She would say, podcast, I'm $200 withdrawn. I don't know what happened. And I said, Grandma, well, let me check your finances. And check after check after check after check. And it all came out at once. Boom. And now she's in the negative and she's fucked. Another reason, obviously, is the sense of entitlement. And do I even need to speak on that at this point? Do I need to speak on the sense of entitlement that old people have? Now you might be thinking, well, they're not that entitled. They are that entitled. Okay. If you are able to do something because obviously you're younger or you feel like you have earned it more, you'll tell them like, hey, I deserve this position a hell of a lot more than you do. And they're like, no, I've been at this company for 40 years. I helped build this from the ground up. I was actually there when we put the bricks down to build this station. And all you ever did was walk in, fill in an application, and boom, you're hired in. You don't deserve this fucking position. Okay, Frank, well, let me ask you this. How many years have you been running a CNC machine? Well, I've been running it for a solid year now. Cool. I've got 5 years. How long have you been with this company? 46 years. Well, because unfortunately the union relies more on seniority, they're going to give the job to you, even though you've got 1 foot in the fucking grave. And half of us here kind of wish you would just kick the fucking bucket already because you're nothing but a mean old fuck. Now, I get seniority. Okay, seniority to an extent makes sense. But when the people who are using it the most are in their 60s and 70s, and you hire these people and they start calling off for medical appointments, for basically almost fucking dying on the line, they're going to croak. And the young guy who put in an application wanted to do what this same guy did, and he left and now is at a different shop and you're fucked out of workers. That might be why, because you're giving it to the people with more seniority. Now the response mostly will be, well, that's mostly for people that have been there for a little bit of time instead of getting their jobs taken away. That is a bullshit argument, and you know it. Anybody who uses seniority in a factory setting is just saying that because they are higher than someone else, and they know if their job was ever put into question, they can be like, well, I got a couple more years in this person, so they can lick my taint. Like the whole thing. I don't care if they get the job or not. Seniority is a crock of shit. Okay? The union is a great idea. I think every shop should be unionized. What I don't believe in is running off seniority. I think skills should topple seniority 9 times out of 10. Stop worrying about your old workers, okay? I get that they were there to build the company, all right? I understand that they were there to help build the company from the ground up, all right? They deserve their time. They deserve their retirement. They deserve their 401k. But I think when it comes to actual job bids and stuff, focus more on the younger crowd, because the younger crowd is going to be the next set of people. When I went in for orientation, the guy who ran the board for the union told us a lot of us are retiring. A lot of us have a foot out of the door already, and we need you younger people to step in and take our positions on the board. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're going to come in and tell me that you rely more on seniority, I don't give a fuck about you guys, okay? I don't care about the people that I'm losing my jobs to, that I'm supposed to defend if I ever want to get on the board and do union things. If, Tommy comes in with 4 years right out of high school CNC experience, knows how to code them, knows how to clean them, knows how to set them up, knows how to set every single thing up, comes to me and says, hey, I know all this shit and I see you guys are applied. Can I take it? I'm going to say yes. And if old fuck McGee here says, oh, well, I've got 54 years in this company, boy, I know how things work. And unfortunately, when it comes to the union, I got to say, okay, you take the job. And then a week later, we send out 98 bad fucking parts. And you go and talk to him and he's like, well, I've only ran a CNC machine once. So what you're telling me is because you have seniority, because you have basically lived in this fucking place since you've been out of high school, I was supposed to trust you. We're going to run this fucking machine like it's supposed to. Check the gauges, check the coolant, check the tools, check every fucking thing that needs to keep this machine running so we can make money from this fucking machine, you old cocksucker. That's what I'm supposed to be more worried about, instead of the guy that has literally shown me proof of his work that he can do this. I had to tell him to fuck off because of your years in this company. That is absolute bullshit. Now, since we're on the topic of union, obviously me being on second shift, I fucking hate this. I hate being on second shift. I have no day. There's nothing I can do. I basically wake up, I got a couple hours to eat, do what I need to do, and then I'm at work for the rest of the day. I don't see a fucking thing. And I was signing bids to go on to third shift. Well, I was signing bids every day. Doesn't matter what it was. CNC, signed right up for it. Forklift driver, signed up for it. General packaging, they knew my fucking name just by my penmanship at that point. It was no longer my name being assigned. No, it was because they seen my name so many times. They would see the start of the letter that I would write, and they're like, ah, shit, this guy. So I talked to my boss one day, and I said, hey, I've been signing bids like a motherfucker. Am I even close to being able to be put on the list? He's like, well, you're not in the union, and unfortunately there's more people that have seniority that are going to be able to get on a different shift before you. Fuck yourself. Okay? Fuck every part of this system that focuses more on old people because they have seniority. Fuck your seniority. Suck my seniority. I think that is the biggest crock of shit to implement into any system. It should always be skill over seniority, because skill will come from the younger generation, i.e. people my age, because I'm only 28, I'm not even 30, and yet I would get denied a job because I don't have time in a company. And this is not the only place that will do that. I have met a lot of places that have no problem telling you, you have a lot of experience. You have worked you have paid your dues. You have worked your time. But because you haven't been here long enough. We're going to give it to old fuck McGee, because old fuck McGee, we've had a beer with this guy. We know what he's like. We know he's a great guy. So unfortunately, we're going to eat those 98 bad parts a week just because he's got time here. So go fuck yourself, and don't even worry about putting an application in if that's what you're trying to do, is take this guy's job. Because we went to high school together. You know, we have family. We raise kids together. It's not because he has dirt on me about fucking my secretary's mouth. No, that's not it. It's because he has seniority here. Fuck you. Fuck your seniority. Fuck old people. Fuck anybody over the age of 60. And I hope when I'm 60, either my son or my grandkids will look at me and be like, Grandpa, you are fucking insufferable. And I'm like, hell yeah, kid. That's how I felt when I was your age. I hated old people. Fuck old people. Now, of course, there's always the naysayers that will tell you, oh, well, they fought for this country. Cool. I get it. They fought for the country. They have made it to where I can say this shit openly and freely. I will never shit on people who have served, whoever went overseas and done all that. I think that is the bravest thing to do because I don't have the fucking balls to do it. I just don't think you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want because of it. Just because you served in the military and you're now 70, I don't think you deserve whatever the fuck you get. I hate old people. Clip that, send that to whoever you want. I cannot stand old people. Anybody over the age of 60 should get their license taken away, and they shouldn't be able to operate anything that is heavy machinery. I think they should just stick with general packaging, and that is it. If it deals with heavy machinery or operating stuff that could kill somebody on the spot with just a simple like interaction, I don't think you should be operating it. Fuck old people. I'm going to say it again. I'll say it every day until I'm dead. I'm the biggest old person hater to exist, and I will happily accept that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me for another episode of the Podcast Eddie Variety Show. If you want to get a hold of me, I am back on all social medias. Yes, I'm back on TikTok, Instagram. I still stayed on X. I never left X. It's all Podcast Eddie. TikTok, Podcast Eddie 1, Instagram, Podcast Eddie, and X is Enough Snuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on another episode. I appreciate you being here. And as always, please, for the love of God, we are hitting them hot months. We're hitting them hot, scorching months. So that means we're going to get hot, we're going to get sweaty. And that means, for the love of Christ, I'm asking you nicely, please, for the love of God, keep your fucking balls clean.